Rachel Fiset is an attorney based out of Los Angeles, and she is joining us live tonight to talk about these latest developments. Rachel, always appreciate having you on. Let's start with all of this information that was released today. Why would they be releasing it now?
This is a really interesting development, and it's not all the time that sheriff's offices would do this. In fact, they generally release the information as part of the discovery process once a charge has been made. So the fact that they're releasing the information prior to charges is an interesting move. It might be something that they're doing to really show that they are above board and that they are making everyone aware of what is going on, so that if there are charges, there can be no allegations of some sort of misconduct or withholding evidence.
Well, a couple things that were new to all of us today. That video showing Alec Baldwin rehearsing with the gun before the shooting. Why would that be significant, legally speaking?
I think they were trying to show what was happening, and that I think that he may have been continuing to point the gun and show what was going on in the room. I mean, I think they're just trying to show the story. They're showing us, they're showing the public all of the investigative items that they have taken. So this is showing what basically, I think, what would have happened on the exact day that it happened.
The other thing was hearing from Joel Souza for the first time. I mean, 6 months later, we haven't heard from him. What stands out to you about what he shared from the hospital room about his encounter?
Well, what he shared was that he thought the armorer handed the gun directly to Alec Baldwin. And I think what has come out and what OSHA found was it was actually David Halls that handed the gun to Alec Baldwin. So it's interesting how people's memories are different, but I think that was an important distinction that was made. If David Halls is charged, that might be something that comes up again. But he's sharing from the hospital bed what he knows, and what he's also talking about the gun safety on the set and what should have been happening.
Rachel, does anything that was released today that you have seen or read incriminate anyone, any group?
I think what is released today is little by little by little. I think this, combined with the OSHA report that was released last week, does incriminate kind of the people in charge of safety again at Rust. I think that is not Alec Baldwin based on what we're finding. I think that's not necessarily the armorer, but I do think that David Halls may be in some jeopardy. And they also named some managers at Rust that should have been in charge and knew of the safety violations.
Sloan mentioned this, but they are still waiting on some particular and very important evidence: ballistics, DNA, data from Alec Baldwin's phone. What does that tell you about the status of the investigation and the timing of handing this case over to the DA?
I think we're very close. I think that OSHA report made it very close. I think this release, we're getting closer and closer and closer. So now they're waiting on ballistics, and my guess is to determine what other kinds of rounds were being shot in and around. Remember, they had collected, I think, 500 shells. They're probably trying to determine how many of those might have been live rounds also being shot on the set. And Alec Baldwin's phone is also possibly going to show us what kind of knowledge he had of safety violations going forward and what he did or did not do about it.
But what stands out to me is we still don't know how live rounds got on that movie set that day 6 months ago. Rachel, always good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.